Welcome to Heritage Salute, a feature of the Jamaica National Heritage Trust, where we look at important aspects of Jamaica's rich heritage. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your many contacts. In the next few minutes, we'll be learning about the important Paul Bogle statue, as well as aspects of Paul Bogle's life and the many controversies which surround the statue. Let us begin. On October 11, 1865, Paul Bogle, a preacher, landowner, and a baker from Stony Gut, led a march with several followers to confront the parish officials at the Morant Bay courthouse. There were many problems within Jamaica: political, social, and economic problems, as well as the problems of the administration of justice. This confrontation at the courthouse led to the death of several persons, including the parish custos. In addition to that, the courthouse was set ablaze. These activities have been called the Morant Bay Rebellion or the Morant Bay Uprising. 100 years after, in 1965, the government of Jamaica decided to honor the memory of Paul Bogle and all those who died in the Morant Bay Rebellion. Noted sculptor Edna Manley, wife of Norman Manley, was commissioned to undertake this statue. The Paul Bogle statue was very rich in symbolism. Each aspect of it represented something related to Paul Bogle's character or the Morant Bay Rebellion. The first feature we'll see is the very muscular physique of Paul Bogle. This represents his strength as well as the strength of his character. The size of the statue was also symbolic. It is 9 feet high, and when it was placed on the pedestal, it was a total of 15 feet. This was very important because it gave the presence of Paul Bogle a very towering effect over Morant Bay town. It was chosen for it to be black. Black was very important because it was said that the black would make it more visible in the town of Morant Bay. Another very important feature is the head. The head was made oversized by Edna Manley. She indicated that this was in keeping with African tradition, where the head of statues were made in an oversized way to show the importance of the consciousness of the person involved. When you notice the face, you will realize that Paul Bogle is very serious, very upset, and very determined, which reflected his character and his whole mannerisms at the time in relation to the injustices that were being experienced in Jamaica. The statue has the shape of a cross, as to how Paul Bogle has his arms in that feature. And as we know, Paul Bogle was a Christian. He was a deacon in the church. But this cross feature was to symbolize the fact that he was made a public sacrifice, as well as he was betrayed. Paul Bogle is bare-chested in the statue, and this was supposed to reflect the fact that he bore his soul. He was a sincere and open character. His ribs are also showing. This does not show hunger or malnutrition, but according to Edna Manley, it was supposed to show a radiation of the sunlight, which was to reflect the hope that Paul Bogle's struggles would bring. We see Paul Bogle's legs and how his pants were fit very snug on his legs. This reflected the fact that Paul Bogle was dripping with sweat, as well as the rainy season during which he was caught and captured. Paul Bogle has a machete in his hand. The machete was a tool that was used by the peasants, but it became a weapon. Furthermore, we see Paul Bogle is wearing a pair of sandals. According to Edna Manley, the sandals reflected the fact that Paul Bogle was close to his roots. The material that was used to make the statue was cement, which was locally obtained. According to Edna Manley, it was impractical for her to make a bronze statue because she was commissioned to do the statue in April and she was facing an October deadline. A bronze statue would require her to make the mold and to send it away to England for it to be filled with bronze and then return to Jamaica. This would have been very costly and time-consuming. The Paul Bogle statue was finally completed and it was mounted on a pedestal before the courthouse in Morant Bay, the same courthouse that Paul Bogle set alight 100 years before, the same courthouse where he was hanged. For many years, the statue of Paul Bogle was an important feature in the town of Morant Bay. On April the 3rd, 2003, it was declared a national monument by the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. Despite this, however, it was not loved. It faced many criticisms by many persons for many reasons. Let us look at some of the criticisms and the controversies which surrounded the statue. For one, many persons felt it simply didn't look like Paul Bogle. It didn't look like the common representation of Paul Bogle they had grown accustomed to seeing. And to be fair, Edna Manley indicated that she used the image of one Philip Bogle, known as Bagan, who was a descendant of the Bogle clan. She actually used him as a model, so many persons felt that the statue actually looked like Philip Bagan and not Paul Bogle. Many persons felt that Philip Bagan Bogle did not have the standing to represent Paul Bogle. Paul Bogle was a landowner. He was a prominent citizen from Stony Gut. He had the right to vote in the 1800s at a time when there was no universal adult suffrage. And Philip Bogle, on the other hand, he was simply a peasant. Many persons felt that the statue was ugly. The face, it was believed that the seriousness of the face made it look very unpleasant to look at, and it just could not be accepted. It was felt that the clothing that is being worn by Paul Bogle was inappropriate. Paul Bogle was an upstanding citizen, and it was felt that the statue should represent how he would dress on a normal day rather than how he looked when he was caught and turned over to the officials. Criticisms were made of the machete. Many persons felt that it was aimed at cutting off the voice of Bogle because of its closeness to the throat, and the tip of the machete is down in the groin area. Many persons felt that this was to cut off the seed or the lineage of the Bogle clan. Interestingly, not only was Paul Bogle executed during the Morant Bay Rebellion, but his brother Moses was hanged alongside him on October 24th. In addition to that, one of Bogle's sons was also killed during the Morant Bay Rebellion. Over the years, the criticism of the statue was very intense, and the authorities, in an effort to appease the many critics, decided to place a sign at the base of the statue, and the sign read, "An artistic impression of Paul Bogle." The defenders of the statue responded by saying that the statue was never intended to look like Paul Bogle, but it was to represent his strength, his character, and the importance of the Morant Bay Rebellion. A number of events took place which sealed the fate of the presence of the Paul Bogle statue in Morant Bay. The first one was that there was a fire in 2007 which totally destroyed the courthouse. The heat from the blaze damaged the statue. Secondly, in 2009, the statue was attacked by a man presumably of unsound mind, and other persons were vandalizing the statue. Eventually, it was decided that the statue needed to be repaired. And so the statue of Paul Bogle was removed from its pedestal from Morant Bay and taken to Kingston to be repaired by noted sculptor Fitz Harrock. These repairs were done and were completed by June 2010. Following that, it was put on display at the National Art Gallery for a month or so, and then returned to his studios at Ligani, where it remained until his death in 2013. Subsequently, it was removed from his home to where it is now located in the courtyard of the Jamaica National Heritage Trust, and it has remained there ever since. In 1969, Paul Bogle was declared a national hero of Jamaica. At the National Heroes Park, there is a shrine to his memory. A statue is there to represent the image of Paul Bogle, and the statue that was done was basically a bust that is a replica of this statue that was done by Edna Manley. From this whole controversy that surrounds the statue, we can learn many things, where we see Jamaicans preferring their national heroes, their icons or symbols of the nation, to be portrayed in a more realistic way as opposed to a symbolic way. So, what do you think about the Paul Bogle statue? Do you think it fully represents the spirit of Paul Bogle? Do you think it should be more representative or symbolic of Paul Bogle? Do you think it should be remounted at Morant Bay Courthouse, or be put in a public space, or left here at the courtyard of the Jamaica National Heritage Trust? Please place your comments below in the section provided. We'd love to hear from you.
Be sure to keep watching Heritage Salute for more information on Jamaica's rich cultural material heritage. Do check out our website at www.jnht.com, our Facebook page, and you can follow us on Twitter at JNHT Jamaica and on Instagram at JNHT1, or email jnhtpublicrelations@gmail.com, or call us at 876-922-128728.
Until next time, when we look at an important aspect of Jamaica's heritage, take care. I am Dwayne Harris.